The TVWAN News is proudly brought to you by
BSP, our bank, our people.
Hello, I'm Jasmine with the news.
And I'm Carol. Join me later on in the bulletin with sports.
In this edition, Dr. Kwa refused bail, Minister intervenes in eviction, and water supply for Western Province. Secretary for Department of Justice Dr. Eric Kwa was formally arrested and charged at the Borko Police Station this afternoon. Dr. Kwa was charged under the Criminal Code Act Section 328 for dangerous driving causing death.
Secretary for the Department of Justice Dr. Eric Kwa was formally arrested and brought to the Borko Police Station this afternoon. He is being charged under the Criminal Code Act Section 328 for dangerous driving causing death. NCD Metropolitan Superintendent Silva Sika said police refused to grant a police bail as the alleged crime he had committed was serious in nature.
Dr. Eric Kwa, alleged to have been involved in dangerous driving causing death some time ago. He has been, just want to confirm that he has been formally arrested and charged for committing dangerous driving causing death under Section 328, subsection 2, subsection 5 of Criminal Code Act. Now, because of the severity of the offense that he has committed under the Act, under the Criminal Code, I have refused bail.
Metropolitan Superintendent Sika said no one is above the law and therefore due processes must be followed.
I've spoken to him and also I've informed him that it's a process that will take a while, and he's very cooperative, and so it's just a process that he's going through, and based on the everything will be the truth about the matter and what actually happened will be revealed in the court, and he's still innocent until he's proven guilty. Right now he's innocent, but it's just a process that we are following, our process, due processes that are set for all of us to follow under the law. Every one of us is subject to submit to law regardless of who we are in our status in the community.
It is alleged that on October 17, 2022, Dr. Kwa was involved in a road accident along the Hiritano Highway in which a woman tragically died from injuries she sustained from the accident. Meantime, it is understood that Dr. Kwa's legal team will be seeking for a court bail in the National Court. Jumaima Sugbat, TV1 News.
This week, 9 non-complying tenants facing evictions for unpaid rental areas were given a reprieve after the housing minister met with a aggrieved group at the Hohola New Generation Hostel. The National Housing Corporation had earlier issued directives to pay up within 2 months or ship out.
Minister for Housing Dr. Kobe Bomareo intervened in the eviction of tenants. Last Friday, the minister gave a grace period of 2 weeks to 9 defaulting tenants who were given eviction notices by the National Housing Corporation Management. National Housing Corporation Managing Director Henry Mokono and the property management team and police, with the consent, secured the hostel for the minister to meet the tenants. Minister Dr. Bomareo encouraged the tenants to contribute to the nation's development in whatever capacity of work they are in, whether a public servant, a private sector employee, or a street vendor or SME owner. Minister Bomareo gave a 2-month window for tenants under 3 categories of those who are paying only half, and those who are not paying at all, to get their tenancies payment in order or face eviction. Dr. Bomareo said he had learned that a group of people will be affected, and that was why he intervened. Tenants were given the opportunity to raise issues of concern, such as car park space, lack of security fencing, allowing illegal activities to thrive, and disturbing the paying tenants, mostly public servants and others from the private sector. The minister also announced to the tenants that National Housing Corporation has embarked on a flats maintenance and upgrade program to refurbish all hostels, apartment blocks and flats nationwide, including the Ho'ola Hostel. Tenants of the Ho'ola Hostel owe NHC accumulated rental areas of 1,280,977 kina over time, as compared to the projected annual rentals of 119,707 kina from the 30 bed-sitters, 12 by 1 bedroom units, and 6 3-bedroom units of the 48-room apartment. Mokono summed up that the Ho'ola evictions was part of the nationwide recovery strategy that has been put in place by the management to mitigate and recover over 100 million kina in unpaid rentals. Frida Kana, TV1 News.
A new board for the National Narcotics Bureau was officially sworn in today. Minister for International Security Peter Siamalili Jr. said the re-establishment of the board after it was abolished for some time will complement the law enforcement agencies in tracking down illicit substances in the country.
The National Narcotics Board is a regulatory body responsible for the licensing, importation and exportation of drugs and controlled substances. Its board members comprises of heads of the agencies, police, correctional services, customs including church, Department of Education, Health and Immigration were officially sworn in today. Minister for Internal Security Peter Siamalili Jr. said the re-establishment of the board after it was abolished will complement enforcement agencies in tracking down and manage illicit substances in the country.
It was abolished in around 2021 and has not been functioning, and therefore has not complemented the other arms of government that has the responsibility of managing the space of narcotics accordingly. Narcotics is such a significant agenda currently within our country, and it is getting, I could say, and we come up one of our biggest, if not the biggest threat that we have with our rising population of youths, men and women. Not just a traditional illegal elements from humanoid long drug, but new drugs are coming into play within our country.
David Manning said drug in recent times has become a concern for the country. He said the RPNGC will take the fight head-on to make sure our communities are safe, secure and healthy.
The presence of narcotics, and unfortunately in recent times we've seen the presence of very strong and dangerous drugs in the country, and I make reference to some of our ongoing cases, investigations involving methamphetamines, cocaine, crack. And it does give a sense of urgency to allow for this process to be completed.
After the swearing-in, a meeting convened where the executives of the board are expected to be elected. Jemima Sukbat, TV1 News.
In commemorating World Cancer Day 2023 on February the 4th, PNG Cancer Foundation and CPL, including other program partners, conducted a training in Port Moresby recently. A health check campaign was conducted as part of the public health and community outreach program, in line with the theme Close the Care Gap, Uniting Our Voices and Taking Action.
City Pharmacy and Paradise Private Hospital conducted a 2-day workshop of health checks and cancer awareness activities for the Foundation Supporter Network and for the general public through City Pharmacy shops nationwide on Friday, 4th February 2023 on World Cancer Day. The 2023 Health Check campaign is an initiative of the Foundation aimed to build a stronger cancer prevention campaign to extend its public health and cancer awareness programs at the local community level and provide access to basic care through the health check activities provided by CPL. CPL Group has supported the PNG Cancer Foundation to raise awareness and help to normalize regular health checks, an approach of primary prevention that is at the heart of the 2023 Health Check campaign. More than 120 participants stand up for Health Check campaign, particularly for blood glucose, blood pressure, and oxygen levels, marking World Cancer Day on February 4th. Besides Port Moresby, CPL across the country set up nurse stations for foot traffic in towns, including Alotau, Ley, Mount Again, Goroka, and Kokopo. PNG Cancer Foundation Executive Manager Priscilla Napoleon commented that she values the partnership with CPL Group as it is one such that enables the foundation to drive its activities forward with measurable impact. CPL will continue to conduct health checks to contribute to addressing cancer prevention and encourage increased behavioral change and healthy lifestyle choices. Frida Kana, TV1 News.
Papua New Guinea Weather Service has sent a strong wind warning effective as of 5 a.m. yesterday.
Areas convergence situated over Bismarck Sea, Solomon Sea, Coral Sea, trough line exists over far north Queensland at about 13 degrees south, 141 degrees east, and extends east to northeast across Coral Sea to Milne Bay Islands, then southeast to a low 1000 high pressure near 13 degrees south, 155 degrees east. Initial gale force warning for southeastern sector of Solomon Sea, including coastal waters of eastern Milne Bay Islands. Strong west to northwest winds of 25 to 34 knots are expected to develop into gale force winds surges of 34 to 40 knots within the next 6 to 12 hours and will continue for the next 24 hours, causing very rough and high seas. A warning note goes to all small craft boats and sea-going vessels to take necessary precautions before going out or to avoid going out to sea, especially over the warning areas. All coastal areas in the warning areas are also advised to take heed of the destructive wind warning and take preventive measures in order to protect lives and properties. Frida Kana, TV1 News.
A total of 7 government agencies have relocated within the Waigani government precinct area. This is a step towards improving and integrating government service delivery using a one-stop shop delivery model for similar services and needs. This is the first major relocation under the procurement arrangement using build-own-lease transfer or BOLT, with private property that results in the state owning the buildings after the lease-back period. This is TV1 News. After the break, tax liability and new vehicle for Kiunga.
With BSP Internet Banking, you can enjoy your banking at home, at work, or wherever you are. BSP Personal Internet Banking allows you to view your accounts and transactions, transfer money, bill pay, schedule future payments, or access your bank statements. Visit your nearest BSP branch to register now.
We see you day in, day out, getting on with the job. Coming out on top, because you're not one to back down. From the islands to islands, from the southern to the north, we see you moving heaven and earth to move our country forward. And at the end of the day, we will be there to serve Papua New Guineans who achieve success with the reward they deserve.
Axion, the grease stripper, is more powerful than ever before. It is now 100% effective in grease removal. Every concentrated dab is packed with grease and oil stripping power. A breakthrough dishwashing solution. Axion has 100% effective grease stripping power. No oiliness, no bad odor, no struggle. This is the best grease stripping.
Strong like you, smart like me. I hope they don't break. Now surely look his son. This is Relaxo. Strong plus thread. Should I try them on you?
No, please. I'll take them.
Relaxo. Very strong, lasts long.
Welcome back. A tax liability is a tax liability and no committee in the world can do a thing about it. Leader of the opposition, Joseph Lelang, made this comment in response to the National Executive Council appointment of a panel of 3 independent experts to review a tax dispute between the Internal Revenue Commission and Barrick New Guinea.
Opposition leader Joseph Lelang says if there was a dispute between the IRC and Barrick, there are appropriate forums under the law for dispute resolutions. He said this new panel of experts is a waste of resources and time and has no legal standing at all to resolve any dispute. Lelang pointed out that this matter was stuck clear from the time of the signing of the framework agreement in April 2021 that Barrick was trying to avoid paying its tax liability that is legally due to the country. He said other legacy issues under different heads of agreement now constitute a major tribunal that landowners are taking up with Barrick New Guinea and that will be revealed in due course. In the event that the state, the Commissioner General of Internal Revenue or any other agency of the state takes any steps to recover or otherwise enforce any tax liability, Barrick New Guinea or any concerned affiliate, then BNL shall be entitled to immediately terminate this agreement by written notice to the state within 30 days of becoming aware of such action, and this agreement will be of no further force or effect. He stressed that this tax liability was incurred by Barrick New Guinea Limited before the closure of the mine. No way can that company bring its old tax liability forward as a condition of reopening of the mine. Freddie Mo, TVWAN News.
The community of Rumginai in Western Province were joyous as they celebrated the launching of their water supply project yesterday. The water project is the very first community infrastructure trust fund project undertaken by Mineral Resources CMCA Holdings Limited in partnership with the Mineral Resource Development Company. It was a day of celebration for Rumginai and its neighboring communities, welcoming a new water project. This means access to a cleaner and safer water supply. Chairman for Mineral Resources CMCA James Asan says that the aim is for impact projects and enriching the communities.
People only come ask him long, or legally a project or some long car, na motor, na something, and we don't know. MRCMC this la funding belong and amino or some you guys enjoy him and they need long trust. No way OTD if you look at him. It is slightly different. We are looking at impact projects. Impact projects in minimum or some or people project where plenty of man married by boom location service.
Governor for Western Province, Taboy Awi Yoto, who was present, acknowledged the investment to the Rumginai community, saying that the water supply must be taken care of. Managing Director for MRDC, Augustine Mano, shared that it took 9 months to complete from February to November 2022.
This water project, and it cost him almost 3 million. This is like 3 million, and we work also long, put him almost 300,000 liters of water by Saplong, Southern Cross, you look at also more simplified, you 60 per house, you got 5,000 liters Tafa tank, 60 per house, each you got 5,000 liters Tafa tank, and minimum storage equivalent of this land.
Mano further stated that the mission station, the rural hospital, the elementary and primary school here, as well as surrounding villages have access to clean and safe water. Jasmine Ero, TVWAN News, Rumginai. Along with the Rumginai water supply project launch, MRDC handed over the keys to a brand new 10-seater to the MRDC Office Operations in Kiunga office. Upon receiving the vehicle key, Chairman for MRCMCA Holdings, James Asan, shared that the motor vehicle will be used to access communities and expand community presence. MRCMCA Holdings are under the Octedi umbrella and holds 12% of the Octedi mine shares for 152 villages from Western Province.
Now, by witnessing, this vehicle will serve Kiunga office and the surrounding areas here on the land. So I mean, vehicle block, car block. So the directors can use this to go out to meet more people.
Meanwhile, the Mineral Resources Development Company has assured the Rumginai community that the organization will work closely with MRCMCA to continue deliver projects to lift the living standard of every family. Managing Director Augustine Mano added that the Community Infrastructure Trust Fund will focus on delivering clean water, improved health and education services, and lifting agriculture production.
You must think in Octedi got 10 years left. So all this institution and Bakara plan at time Octedi finish. You may build him one or some so that you may get the member story block. You know, investment we block open business. Planning you plan to so over the last 13 years we've created a value block. The 3 Octedi company goes on 2.5 billion. So that's the total worth block over the 3 blocks. So you know, legally company 10 years we want to make sure that you have enough money without Octedi. You may get funding also the project. Now make sure that you make a good partnership on the provincial government, national government, and you maintain.
Students of Kiunga Secondary School are urged to take ownership of learning facilities. Former school principal Sowati Ole told students during graduation that classrooms, desks, learning materials, water tanks and others within the school's vicinity must be used wisely as the school has been struggling for over a decade. This year, more than 600 students have been enrolled for this academic year and normal classes have begun this week. Meantime, the school administration advised parents and students that boarding facilities are incomplete because all dormitories had undergone maintenance work since 2020 and is expected to reopen its boarding facilities next year. The Motu Koita Assembly held a sponsors launch yesterday with a generous partnership donation of 50,000 kina from WR Carpenters, which has presented to 2021 to 2022 Hiri Hanenamo Queen, Kuba Hitolo, and MKA Chairman Daddy Toka Jr. The event was attended and witnessed by members of the Hiri Mwale Festival Committee, MKA, and WR Carpenters.
The Motu Koita Assembly held a sponsors launch yesterday with the presentation of 50,000 kina from WR Carpenters Group Manager Boyadara. Boyadara, who is the newly appointed Group Manager for WR Carpenters, congratulated the Chairman and the staff of the Motu Koita Assembly for working to deliver a successful Hiri Mwale Festival as host.
I want to congratulate you on that superb effort. I also want to say on behalf of the directors of WR Carpenters Group, all our business partners, staff of WR Carpenters, we'd like to present a 50,000 kina sponsorship to Chairman Daddy Toka and to the people of MKA. The Chairman, having been a part of the Hiri Mwale last year in another form, I believe he's done a great job and he'll continue to do a great job.
In his response to Mr. Dara's remarks, Chairman Daddy Toka Jr. said the event was a milestone for MKA.
Today, having the new partnership of WR Carpenters come on board is a wonderful inclusion to the Hiri Mwale Festival family. So thank you very much, Boyadara and WR Carpenters.
The Hiri Mwale Festival will be running between the 3rd and 5th of March, and so far, the numbers for the Hiri Hanenamo contestants is slowly climbing with interest. There will also be the infamous Vanagi race that is dubbed the Melbourne Cup of canoe racing this side of the globe. Top prize money for the A-grade division is 10,000 kina. Chairman Toka said this year looks to be a great event that will showcase culture, but more importantly, to acknowledge how women contribute meaningfully to the Motu Koita society. Carol Kido Jr., TV1 News.
This is TV1 News. Stay tuned for more when we return.
Experience a convenient and smarter way to do your banking with BSB Mobile Banking. You don't have to leave the office or your home to pay for bills. You can view your account balance, transfer funds, top up phone credits, or purchase Easy Pay units wherever you are. Visit your BSB branch today to register now for BSB Mobile Banking. BSB Mobile Banking, the smarter way to bank. BSB, our bank, our people.
When you're spending time with family, when you've got a big day ahead, when you have given it all you've got, when you're putting on a feast, that's when you want the best. That's when you want flame rice. New flame rice. Win him, Olgeta.
He says the best Hunters players come from his region. So does she. But there's one thing that brings everyone together. SP Lager. Bungum Yumi. Cheers to 70 years.
Strong like you, smart like me. I hope they don't break. Now surely look his son. This is Relaxo. Strong plus thread. Should I try them on you?
No, please. I'll take them.
Relaxo. Very strong, lasts long.
I want you to win somebody's heart. That's Naren.
I never asked for your help with anything, Dad. Don't impose your expectations.
I'm going to be the one who makes the final decision here.
The beast is away! Oh, what a player! What a player! Flanagan couldn't stop him with a bazooka!
Welcome back. Turning overseas now, the impact across the Syrian border has been devastating. The worst affected areas have long been facing the fallout of the civil war, where infrastructure was in many cases already damaged beyond repair. Channel 4's Sekanda Kermani reports.
There are children trapped under the rubble here since 4 in the morning, the narrator says frantically. There's no rescue equipment. They're using their bare hands, he says. From underneath the debris, the voice of a little girl. I can't move, she says. We're coming for you, they promise. But we don't know what happened next. This is Jandaris in northern Syria, close to the Turkish border. A third of the town has been destroyed, locals say. The entire town has been consumed by loss and despair. Here, a father mourning a child. There are 12 families trapped here, and no one managed to get out, says this man. You can see the shock on his face. No one has come to help us yet, he adds. We've been digging with our hands since 3 a.m. This young girl was pulled alive from the debris. But stories of hope are overshadowed by those of pain. Her mother, brother and sister were all killed. Northern opposition-controlled Syria was already in a dire humanitarian situation. For years at the centre of the Syrian conflict, bombed and besieged with millions displaced, now in the midst of freezing weather and a cholera outbreak. In the opposition-controlled towns, the White Helmets, best known for responding to Russian and regime airstrikes, have been at the forefront again. In under-resourced hospitals, beds are full, body bags cover the floor.
We felt the quake. It was very strong, so we grabbed the kids and ran outside. Just as we got to the entrance of our building, it collapsed. It just collapsed around us. We were saved because of a wooden door which fell on us. The building was 4 stories. No one else in the block survived.
This disaster and the pain it's brought, crossing even the most bitter political divides.
The Australian War Memorial will remove 11 Chinese-made security cameras after the federal opposition raised questions about their use. The cameras are made by Hikvision, a company partly owned by the Chinese government. There are concerns the cameras could be operating a spyware. ABC's Patrick Bell with more.
Has 200 CCTV cameras in its system. Just 11 of those are Hikvision cameras, and the institution says none were positioned inside the building where exhibits and other historical material could be filmed. Nonetheless, the cameras will be removed. 5 will be taken out this month and the remainder by the middle of the year. The recently appointed chair of the War Memorial, former Labor leader Kim Beazley, said he only found out about the cameras today. He insists there has not been a security breach, but the institution is acting out of an abundance of caution.
So, yes, you could pick up, if you went around the war memorial, if it wasn't properly protected, you could pick up useful material. But we do properly protect it.
Concerns were raised about the use of the cameras by Liberal Senator James Patterson in November. Senator Patterson is the opposition's cybersecurity spokesman, and he has welcomed the War Memorial's decision to take the cameras out.
The War Memorial is to be commended in a sense that they recognise that they have these devices and that they should be removed. In their response to me, they said the devices that they have at their site here in Canberra will be removed, and that is appropriate recognition of the national security risks that they pose.
It's not the first time concerns have been raised about hike vision cameras. The UK government restricted their use at government buildings last year. At the time, the company said it was false to claim it was a threat to national security.
Finding a rental has become an exhausting and hopeless experience for many people across Queensland. As the housing crisis continues to deepen, it's now impacting the delivery of health care in rural and regional areas, with those in critical roles struggling to find a place to live.
Colleen Clark has been desperately searching for a new rental for almost a year.
We've just had nowhere to go. I've exhausted all avenues.
The 49-year-old nurse works at the Theodore Hospital in central Queensland, but the house she's living in is being sold and she has to be out by next week.
I think it's sad when you've got someone like me who's permanent full-time, happy to stay here, who's got the skill and ability, but they're not willing to help me.
Rural communities are desperate for health workers, and Ms Clark wants to stay, but says the housing crisis is making it near impossible.
It's a critical issue and we really need to actually have government turn their attention to this, both federal and state governments, because it's having an impact on the delivery of health services.
Queensland Health says incentives and support are offered to new employees looking to relocate to rural areas. The Health Minister says plans are also in place to build more staff accommodation.
We are looking at where we can build additional accommodation. These are conversations we're having with the Minister for Housing, and we're working with Public Works as well.
In a statement, the Deputy Premier said the government is working to improve housing supply and affordability, including investing more than $20 million to support those struggling to find a home in the private rental market. For now, Ms Clark has her sights set on the neighbouring town of Mowra, but wishes she didn't have to move at all.
And that ends the news segment. In sports, netball and final playoffs, and Civic Pride joins Digicel Cup. Details later on with Carol. Taking us now to break is the weather forecast for the next 24 hours.
He says the best Hunters players come from his region. So does she. But there's one thing that brings everyone together. SP Lager. Bongum Yumi. Cheers to 70 years.
career-defining win.
Vargas is the new champion.
Undefeated Ray Vargas moves up a weight class to take his 3rd division bout. But top prospect Oshaki Foster has championship aspirations and the skills to match.
Oh, and he's hurt!
Only one will triumph.
Vargas versus Foster, live February 12th, only on Fight Sports.
I came from the remote part of Eastern Islands. I have seen the laboring mother somewhere on the road coming to the nearest aid post to deliver a baby. And on the way, somehow, either the mother or the baby passed away.
We saw that his work was really specific in trying to find solutions to the problem. Oh, Tommy!
My wife, she's a midwife, and she said we have to build up a waiting hut so that we can accommodate those marginalized pregnant mothers. We all have a weakness and strength, and we must all hand in hand and then support so that we have a good community to live in.
They're not rugby league players. They're magicians. He's electric. He scores for Melbourne.
This should be a warning for you. His heart is already at its limit. He might not be able to survive another attack. He needs an operation as soon as possible, okay?
You should be scared, kid, because your parents just sold you off to me, so I owe you now.
Wait, you sold Aris to Dante? How could you do that to him? John, how could you do that?
So you want to earn some big bucks, huh? You think you have what it takes?
I do.
Welcome back. In sports, the private company's netball competition looks forward to an exciting game of netball as the season draws to an end. Teams are being finalized for the Final Four contest starting Sunday, 12th February 2023.
In last weekend matches in the Premier Division, BSP1 played a tactful game with experienced hands against More Printing 1, who fielded a much younger outfit. The match was equally played with BSP1 led in the first half 6-5. Both teams played hard on both ends of the court. In the second half, changes were made to both teams as they displayed skills and tech, with More Printing 1 having the last laugh 15-12. Strict guidelines have been set for players. President Julie Mai said players have played 4 matches or more will qualify to play in the finals. The confirmation is based on the number of games played and if interchange have been done accordingly. A total of 60 teams have advanced into the top 4 playoff. The final dates have been set as follows. Susan Oriape, TV1 Sports.
The PNG National Rugby League competition today confirmed 12 teams that will be participating in the 2023 season of its flagship competition, the Digicel Cup. The highly anticipated announcement comes after months of deliberation with key stakeholders and the board of the PNG NRLC.
National Rugby League Competition Board Director Lorna McPherson confirmed the participation of 11 franchises from the 2022 competition, noting the exclusion of Jiwaka franchise Wagi Tumbe and announcing the inclusion of the new franchise, the Sepik Pride. She also confirmed the 12 teams. McPherson says this inclusion of another team, PNG NRLC board, is excited to see a new brand of rugby league that will be played and brought in by the Civic Pride.
And with this inclusion of another team, for us to see a new brand of rugby league that's going to be played in and brought with this new Mamase franchise, it's really something that we're excited about, and I'm sure everybody in CEPIC are excited about. And I also want to congratulate the team and the franchise for actually the work that they put in. To get into the Digicel Cup, it is not an easy task, and it's something that they've worked extremely hard to do. So congratulations to all the boys and also their chairman. So with this inclusion, that gives us 2 teams now from Mamase, with the Leigh Snacks Tigers as well, and they are from the Northern Confederate League, as you all know.
The inclusion of the Civic Pride came after Wagi Tumbe's participation in the competition was terminated, leaving an available slot in the 12-team roster. The Jiwaka franchise's termination of participation was the result of failure to participate in the round 17 of the 2022 season on August 28, with no notice that was to be played in Lae. PNG RFL Chief Executive Officer Stanley Hondina said the necessary processes were undertaken in providing an opportunity to the Tumbe to showcase and appeal the PNG NRLC's decision to terminate their license to participate, adding that it is unfortunate that a team take leave from the competition. The PNG NRLC is positive to host a bigger and better 2023 Digicel Cup season.
As we implement the new NRLC strategic plan and its view to better the competition, but we can't be doing the same old thing we've been doing in the last decade. We've got to get better. And for us to get better, hard decisions have to be made. Strong decisions have to be made, but the necessary ones. That's in the interest of all stakeholders involved.
Susan Oriape, TV1 Sports.
The NRL's pre-season challenge kicks off this weekend. Between the big off-season transfers and the Dolphins joining the competition, there's so much to look forward to, while all eyes will be on the likes of Api Koreisau, Isaiah Papali'i, Reid Mahoney and Viliami Kikau as they get their first official game in their new colours.
Brendan Wakeham will play halfback in his first appearance for the club with fellow new recruit Charlie Staines. Games will be played over 80 minutes, but with clubs able to field many as 28 players in Week 1 matches and up to 26 in Week 2 matches, with unlimited interchanges at their disposal in both weeks. After 3 months of toil, West Tigers are able to play their first competitive match of the 2023 campaign against New Zealand Warriors in Week 1 of the inaugural NRL Pre-Season Challenge. Thursday evening clash in Auckland will provide West Tigers members and fans with the first glimpse at several of the club's newest recruits, along with many of the brightest young talents coming through the pathway system. Senior players have been rested from the match, providing those selected with the opportunity to stake their claim. One of those positional battles is set to ensue at halfback, where Dane Laurie, Charlie Staines and young gun Charembula will fight it out for the number 1 jersey. Out wide, Tommy Talau and Liam Scolari both missed the entirety of 2022 after suffering ACL injuries and will make their return alongside one another. Former Wairarapa Tristan Riley will don the orange, black and white for the first time at 5'8", as he partners with halfback Brendan Wakeham. Warriors' new coach Andrew Webster has selected a halves pairing of 2 fellow new signings in Luke Metcalf and Temaya Martin. 23-year-old Taine Tuapiki, who joined the Warriors from Burleigh Bears, will get first shot at the number 1 jersey left vacant by Rhys Welch. The match kicks off at 6 p.m. at Mount Smart Stadium, New Zealand tomorrow. Susan Oriape, TV1 Sports.
And in sports overseas, the Maori and Indigenous teams have officially been welcomed to Rotorua ahead of this weekend's historic first-ever NRL All-Stars game in New Zealand. It's been a disrupted build-up with the Indigenous team's arrival overshadowed by the arrest of teammates Latrell Mitchell and Jack Whiten over the weekend, while the Maori team have had to scramble after several players pull out. New Hub's James Regan reports.
A special welcome for the NRL's elite. The Indigenous All-Stars invited on to Rotorua's Te Papai Oru Marae ahead of an historic week.
Just very emotional, very passionate, and just a lot of things were going on in my head, and definitely really connected to what just happened.
Superstar Latrell Mitchell meeting locals and getting a taste of Maori custom. But across the Tasman, he's been in the headlines for the wrong reasons. Mitchell and teammate Jack Whiten arrested after an incident at a Canberra nightclub.
Can't talk too much about it, but we're both happy to be here and we can't wait to play, and we just want to focus on the week.
Something, I have to live with now, but it's done, and as you said, it's before the court, so we'll get to that stage and see how we go.
The pair not wanting to let the incident get in the way of the week, with the All-Stars clash making its New Zealand debut.
This whole experience could be a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and something I wasn't going to miss, so I'm very grateful to be here.
The Māori side have their own headaches, with a host of players, including Kiwi stars Joey Manu and Nelson Asofa-Solomona, pulling out due to injury. Coach Ben Gardner calling on younger players to step up.
Sometimes when there's a situation where a guy misses out, it's someone else's goal. And I had that conversation with a number of the players.
A chance to make a name with the NRL season fast approaching. James Regan, News Hub.
And that ends the sports segment. It's over to you, Jasmine.
Thank you, Carol. Before we go, remember to apply the following simple measures to prevent the transmission of the coronavirus. Regularly wash your hands with soap and water, cough or sneeze into your elbow, and exercise social distancing. If you are feeling sick, please stay at home. You can also call the COVID-19 hotline number for more information or assistance. Pleasant viewing. Bye for now.
The TVWAN News was proudly brought to you by BSP, our bank, our people.